played forward from Stephen Trench into the penalty area, chested down by Danny Hall, picked up here by Adam Boyce towards the left-hand side of the penalty area, gets it back in. Liam Dickinson, oh, Nicky Bottle! He has put the ball in at the edge of the 6-yard box. Has Nicky Bottle turned this game round and perhaps possibly sent Guiseley through to the Vanarama Conference?
Good afternoon and welcome to a cold, clear Nethermoor Park for this afternoon's Vanarama National League encounter with Braintree Town. Today's opponents provided Guiseley's very first away win of the season, all the way back in September when we narrowly defeated them 1-0 with a late goal. Can the Guiseley get back on track after midweek disappointment at the hands of Forest Green? We shall see. Can Emil Sinclair finally break that 27-game duck? And finally, after hitting the post 3 times on Tuesday night, get the ball in the back of the net. We'll have live commentary from 3 p.m. on this one from Colin Robertson and Tom Feeney. And we'll have all the build-up. Tweet us at Guiseley Radio.
Norburn goes for goal. Oliver Norburn! What a hit! All of 35 yards out. He had the sighter earlier. That is an absolutely stunning strike.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name's David Kendra and welcome to Saturday afternoon at Nethermoor. It has been a long time since we have seen it. I'd almost forgotten what it looks like in the daylight, and it's changing as well. We've lost the shop, we've lost the office, we've lost the netting behind the goal. Work is ongoing as we speak, and we all hope that it will be done in time for that deadline, and we're all certain that it will be. Well, fingers crossed. Everything, nothing can go wrong now. Today's game is against Braintree Town, who of course Guiseley defeated 1-0 all the way back in September, and provides Guiseley with an opportunity to bounce straight back from that midweek disappointment against Forest Green. Joining me for build-up this afternoon, Tom Feeney. Tom, not seen you in a little while. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you, mate. I was going to say I was here on Tuesday night. Part of me wishes I didn't because I've got a cold because of it, but it's good to be back at Nethermoor on a Saturday at long last.
Isn't it? It just feels right on a Saturday. We've obviously had a couple of midweek games that maybe didn't quite go the way that we would have hoped. That disappointing trophy exit. Disappointment again on Tuesday, but we played so well. We dominated that game and we should have scored, really. Yeah,
we should have. I mean, you look at the game, Emil Sinclair hits the post on 3 occasions. On one of the occasions, it hits one post, hits the other, and I was convinced it crossed the line. The goalkeeper did brilliantly to claw it away, and on another day that goes in. And I was speaking to one of the Forest Green directors after the match, and he was saying, if you play like that, you're going to go up next season. That's what he said. I mean, it was a marvellous performance, and I think if we can put that same level in today, it's not going to be easy against Braintree, but you look at Forest Green's budget, in the end, that money I think told, and today I think we'll be able to get something from it.
Well, I mean, Forest Green have been in the top 2 of the National League for the entire season, haven't they? So to outplay them in the way that we did and to only lose by the narrowest of narrow margins is testament to how well I think that Guiseley played. But it's been a bit like that this season. We seem to be able to raise ourselves for those sorts of games, for Forest Green, and for the performance against Grimsby particularly springs to mind as well. And then sometimes with the teams that are a bit lower down the table, we can be a bit complacent. Do you think Mark Barrow will have warned the lads against that today?
Definitely, and I think when you look at Braintree, they're a team who could, get into the playoffs by the end of the campaign. They've got the quality, they've got quite a bit of depth to their squad as well, and you look at Guiseley, it's, we're 6 points away from the relegation places at the moment, and that's a nice feeling, but you look at the games we've got coming up, Cheltenham, Grimsby, Tranmere. They're tough games and we need to take advantage, but the good thing is, we know that we'll get a good crowd today, and we know that the lads, if they can put the performance in they did on Tuesday, I think we'll be okay.
And quite a few of those games here at Nethermoor as well, so that's obviously got to provide some sort of advantage. Well, following on from the Tuesday night defeat at the hands of Forest Green, we spoke to Mark Barrow and asked how he felt it went.
one thing that you can ask from the players is to put a performance on, and they certainly did that tonight. Thought we played really well. Certainly for sort of 70-75 minutes, we were well on top, well in control, created numerous chances. I think when Emil shot hits one post, runs along line, hits the other one, and just passes Nicky Bosch a yard away, ready for a tap in, you kind of knew it was not going to be our night, and that's how it went. Just nothing really fell for us. The chances we had, keepers made a couple of unbelievable saves. Lads made a last ditch block almost on the line from Nicky Bosch. Emil's at the bar again. It was just one of those nights, but I can't ask for any more from the players. They've given us absolutely everything against the side that they're on a big unbeaten run. Their record against the bottom teams in the bottom half of the league is played 19, won 17, drawn one, lost one before tonight. And I thought, like I say, for 75 minutes we've looked like the team that were second in the league against them, but if we just can't stick that ball in the net, and we just didn't have that little bit of luck at times as well for it to go in for us, you leave yourselves open to get punished. And when they're bringing on the quality of the players that they're bringing on as well, it's just punished at the end. But feel for the lads, feel for everyone tonight. It were very, very cruel on us.
One word on the referee, the one decision he got wrong right at the end.
Well, that just summed up his performance. We've had the referee twice before this season. We've conceded 2 goals in those 2 games, and both have been proven on the video to be complete, blatant errors, really poor errors that have cost us points, cost us goals. And tonight, the performance was in keeping with what we've seen from him before. Every time they shouted for something, they were giving it. Boise has a shot at the end, clearly deflected for a corner. A couple of their players are back on the post ready to defend the corner, and he gives a goal kick, and you see the lads' frustration. All the crowd see it. It's just, I don't know, I can't explain the performance, to be honest. If you want to know about it, you'll have to ask him.
In terms of an improved performance from what we saw on Saturday, when we played well at Altrincham, but that was even better.
I think that's as well as we played all season in terms of completely controlling the game, keeping the ball well, creating chances, defending well, looking solid. Dan Atkinson was excellent when called upon. From 1 to 11 and the subs that came on, I thought they've all had a positive impact on the game. And the one thing we couldn't do was stick it in the net. And the top of the league, because second in the league and on the run they're on with a massive number of points, because when they're not playing well, they've got a goalkeeper that makes saves like he did tonight. And you often say as well, when you're up there, you get a bit more of the luck, and I think they've certainly used up a fair amount tonight. But no, the performance is as good as we've played for a long, long time, and the challenge is now is to sort of hit those standards again. And if we do that against teams in this league, not the Forest Greens, then we should be getting good results. So overall pleased with the performance, and we've just got to take it into Saturday.
Exactly that. Going on to Saturday, Braintree at home. We've got this little run of 5 home games in a row. After a performance like this, how hard is it going to be to replicate that and get that kind of performance, and how important is it to bounce back? And
you want the performance. That's what you're looking for, on Saturday. But I'll take playing like they did tonight and winning 1-0. I'll certainly take that. But no, if you keep that level of performance up, and I think we've had that since the turn of the year, then you will pick up points, you'll pick up wins. And good to get players back on the pitch tonight. Anthony Dudley coming in did well. Norburn did well coming back into the team as well. And we've got got a strong squad, good strong bench, and people coming back from injury as well. So look forward to it. We've made a few changes tonight that have had a positive impact on it. Against Forest Green, we might look to do that again for Saturday. But everyone's put a marker down, say that they want to keep the shirt tonight, and that's positive for Saturday and the weeks after as well.
What's the situation with Oliver Norburn? Because we saw him go down shortly before he came off anyway.
He's not played for a while, so we had the change ready to be made anyway. So Gav was coming on for him. I think he's okay. Just a little kick really as we broke away. So we'll have a look at him on Thursday, and hopefully he'll be right for Saturday.
And a word on Dan Atkinson, of course, out again. Is Steve Drench still?
Yeah, not here tonight. Not here tonight. He was ill, and Dan was terrific. Two good saves in the first half when they hit us on the counter attack, and a couple more in the second. Don't think he could do much with their goal. Played well for us, and can't ask for any more from him. being chucked in at the deep end after such a long time without any games. So really pleased with him, and hopefully he can continue that form for us.
And should Stephen Drench be available for Saturday, it's going to give you something to think about.
Yeah, big decisions all over the pitch. Adam Smith's missed out tonight through injury when he was excellent for us on Saturday, and players coming back into the squad, it's difficult, but that's what you need, especially we're in a run of games where we're playing Tuesdays and Saturdays for a lot of the weeks coming up, so you need that strength in depth, certainly at this level, and I think they've shown tonight with the two lads that make their goal are two lads that have come off their bench, so it's important that all the squad's ready and can have a positive impact on the game.
Mark Bauer there after Tuesday night's 1-0 defeat at the hands of Forest Green, a game that the Lions dominated and should have scored. And the man who hit the post 3 times that night, Emil Sinclair, also spoke to Tom Feeney after that game.
Yeah, it's just one of them games. I think the keeper's pulled off a good save first half, and I've reversed it. The one where I've hit the post twice, and then the last one when I hit the bar, I just thought it's one of them nights, never going to score, but we had to keep pushing, and it was one of them games where we was on top, I thought, for the whole game. And I said at half time, we need to take one of these chances, because it's one of them games where if we don't take our chance, they're a strong team and they could nick it at the end, which they ended up doing. So yeah, very disappointed. So yeah.
It must be very frustrating, because obviously you've had chances, other teammates have had chances, and on another day we'd have scored 3 or 4.
Yeah, definitely. In there, all the boys got their heads down, and I think that's the best we've played football since I've been here, and the boys said that's the best they've played in a while. And when you play that well, you think you deserve 3 points, but that's how football goes. You don't take your chances, you get punished, especially against the stronger teams. And we said we needed a goal, and we just couldn't get it today. And obviously, me being the striker, very hard on myself, and I feel like basically I should have got the 3 points for the team. So yeah, very disappointed after the game.
I was going to say, you're here on loan at the moment. Just how are you finding it?
Yeah, enjoying it. Enjoying it. I know a few of the boys from before I came, so yeah, definitely enjoying it. We've had a few good results. Today should have been a good result, but yeah, definitely enjoying it. I know the gaffer before I came here as well from the Bradford days, so yeah, enjoying it. I'm not sure when it quite ends, but hopefully we can extend it and we'll see what happens from there.
I was going to say about extending the loan, it is a case then that you'd be open to staying maybe till the end of the season?
Yeah, on my part, I'd want to stay. I think it all comes down to the gaffer here and the gaffer at York. Obviously they'll exchange phone calls and take it from there. But I'm happy I'm playing football, which I haven't done in a long while due to injuries. So I'm happy playing football. I get along good with the boys, and definitely wanting to stay and continue to play football. I
was going to say, because obviously if you go back to York City, there's a chance you might not play, and you just want to play at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I can't remember the last time I've played this amount of consecutive games, in a while, due to injuries and things like that. So I'm definitely enjoying my football here, and like I said, I'd want to stay if that was the option. So we'll see what happens.
And do you feel it's the case that as every game passes, you're getting to know the teammates a little bit more, you're getting to know the ins and outs?
Yeah, definitely. Especially as a striker, you need to know your midfielders, your wingers, obviously the other striking partner. And as time gets on, obviously being out injured as well, you're getting fitter, you're getting sharper. As a striker, you need a good 3 or 4 games before you get your full sharpness back. And I'm feeling like today I am getting the sharpness back. That's why I was a bit disappointed, in not taking the chances, because in training I'm putting them away, and working a lot, working very hard in training, my finishing. So definitely feel like I'm getting a lot fitter and a lot sharper with every game.
And next up it's Braintree, a chance for you to get your goal, because it looks like you're so close now to getting that goal.
Yeah. There's a few games where I thought I could have got a goal, in the last 2 games, away games. So yeah, like I said, I can't wait for every game, to be honest. There's nothing like, playing every game and waking up on a Saturday or a Tuesday knowing you've got a game. Especially as a striker, you just want to play each game, and like I said, I'm looking forward to every game.
Emil Sinclair after
I'm joined by Guiseley boss Mark Bauer after the 1.
Excuse me, Chris, I'm talking. Chris Bell, he's not even here and he's butting in. Unbelievable.
Sorry, that was me there.
I think that was you. That was Tom. Tom's ruined everything. Look, Emil Sinclair talking to Tom Feeney after the Tuesday night game, and we've had the team sheets in. Emil Sinclair starts again up front. I'll go a quick run through. We'll start with Braintree. Number 1, Tom King. Number 2, Sam Habigan. Number 4, Ches Isaac. Number 5, Matt Payne. Number 8, Kenny Davis. Number 10, Simeon Akinola. Number 15, Mark Phillips. Number 22, Anthony Edgar. Number 23, Michael Cheek. Number 30, Alex Woodyard. And number 22, Mitch Brundle. On the bench for Braintree today, Sean Marks, Joe Gardner, Taylor Miles, Remy Clerima and Michael Crow. For the Lions today, Daniel Atkinson continues in goal in place of Stephen Drench. Number 4, Danny Lowe. Number 6, Jake Lawler. Number 8, Danny Boschel. Number 12, Danny Hall. Number 11, Nicky Boschel. Number 23, Emil Sinclair. Number 33, Robert Atkinson. Number 34, Anthony Dudley. Number 35, Oliver Norburn. And number 36, James Hurst. Filling up the bench for the Lions today, Ryan Toulson, Adam Boys, Liam Dickinson, Gavin Rothery and Ben Parker. So, Tom, pick the bones out of that one. 3 holding midfielders. How are guys going to line up today?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because I'd say it's 4-2-3-1, but it can be a 4-4-2 as well, with Nicky Boschel moving into an attacking position. You've also got Anthony Dudley who can play there with Emil Sinclair, so you could even move it to a forward 3 if they need a goal. And when I look at this team, first of all, I'm really glad that Emil Sinclair starts again. He, to me, was so unlucky on Tuesday not to get a goal. It looks like he's finally got back to full fitness, and he's getting there now. Once he gets one goal, I think he'll get quite a few, and it's good to hear as well. He said on Tuesday he wants to stay here, so he's got a good attitude. Dan Atkinson in net again, and I had a quick chat with Steve Drench. He's had a bit of an illness. Mark Bowers decided, instead of having a sub-keeper on the bench, he's going to have 5 outfield players because he feels if they needed it, Liam Dickinson can go in there if they really needed it, hopefully.
Because he can play everywhere, of course.
Yeah, he can play everywhere. But, Dan Atkinson fills me with confidence. He had a fantastic game on Tuesday, made some brilliant saves, a little bit unlucky with the goal he conceded, and he also had a good game against Altrincham the game before, so I think there's no reason for him to be dropped.
Right, well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because obviously Stephen Drench is keen to play. Yep. He's been our first choice keeper for a long time, but as you say, Dan Atkinson's doing very well. Emil Sinclair, as you say, also doing very well. It looks like James Hurst is going to go back at left back today. He's been playing a few games at left midfield. Right back. Colin's correcting me at right back. Okay, right back, fine. James Hurst playing at right back, but he's been playing further forward in recent games. Does that offer a bit more flexibility, do you think, in terms of if they need to change things up, if they need to go after Braintree at some point?
Yeah, because you look at where he was at West Brom in the under-21s, and he played very much as a full-back. Then at Torquay United, he had a very good performance, really in that attacking midfield role and that wing role. So he's someone who can have a variety. If Guiseley need to surge on late on, they can do that. And like I said, they've got 3 forwards on that pitch potentially. They can move it to 4 if you add Hurst.
OK, well, Guiseley's last line of defence again today, Daniel Atkinson, and we spoke to him after a fine performance against Forest Green.
Tom Feeney with Dan Atkinson after the 1-0 loss to Forest Green Rovers. Dan, just one of them games, isn't it? We had a lot of chances. On another day we'd have got something.
Yeah, I thought the boys played really well. We had high expectations of Forest Green, being second in the league and the form that they're on. And I thought, we dealt with it really well and passed the ball and played some good stuff.
I was going to say, when you look at it though, facing Forest Green Rovers, one of the teams up for promotion, we did really well.
Yeah, we did. I think the pitch played better than I thought many of the boys did. Much better than Saturday, and it really allowed us to get the ball down. And it might surprise them the way we came out and played, but we gave a good account of ourselves.
And for yourself, in between the sticks yet again, how much did you enjoy it?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, I'm loving the back-to-back games. Really happy to get some solid performances in, and hopefully I can carry on.
I was going to say as well, while Stephen Drench is ill, it's an opportunity you can take.
Yeah, it's an opportunity so far in my career that I haven't had yet, so hopefully I can keep on going and push forward.
And in terms of the coaching, just how are you finding it?
Oh, it's really good, really enjoying it. Boys are brilliant. Still do stuff on my own, which keeps me ticking over, but yeah, going really well.
It seems like you had really good communication with the defence today. It seems like obviously the training sessions are really helping.
Yeah, well, it's something that in my game that I'm quite proud of. The communication between my back four has always been a strong point for me, and I think doing well, bringing it into the games. I don't think it's a problem, to be honest.
And of course, you're a former Leeds United youngster. I mean, do you feel your time there is helping you now?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, I had 9 great years at Leeds, which has brought me all this way. So they've trained me well enough to, go straight into this division and do well.
And I suppose next up, Braintree, if we play like we did tonight, we'll be getting something from it.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I mean, we should do, considering the performance that we put in tonight. All we've got to do is replicate that, and I'm sure the balls will fall for us on Saturday.
And looking at the table now, obviously we're still in and around the relegation places. Just how important is it we get out of there as soon as possible?
Oh, really important. Really important the club can pull away. I mean, there's still a hefty gap between us and the relegation zone. Don't know how tonight's results went, but I mean, the quicker we get away from there, the quicker we can start planning for next season.
No home defeat against Forest Green. Where
Daniel Atkinson after the game against Forest Green on Tuesday. So, as we prepare for kick-off here on a Saturday at Nethermoor, and it feels good to say that again, by the way, can't say that enough, against Braintree. Your thoughts on today's game, Tom, and predictions?
I think it's going to be a tough one. I think Braintree are coming here. They think they can win this. You hear their manager speak during midweek. He thinks that he can come here and get a result. I've got a feeling, guys, that they'll be buoyed with what they did during midweek. And I want to be optimistic, but whenever I make a prediction, I say we'll win, we lose heavily. So I'll say, I will say we'll win. I'll say 2-0, and I'll say Emil Sinclair gets both goals, because if he can play like he did against Forest Green Rovers, he will definitely score.
There is the very tempting prospect, isn't there, of a double over a team. We don't do doubles over teams very often, do we? Have we done one yet?
I don't think we have, because obviously we've had so many away games and we've gained a couple of draws and we've only gained a couple of wins away from home, but this is a great chance to do the double against a side who are trying to gain promotion.
No, I was thinking of Woking. I thought we'd done the double over Woking. Kidderminster. We did the double over Kidderminster.
Yeah, but everyone else.
Macclesfield?
Yeah.
Macclesfield, they beat Macclesfield, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they did, but they've improved, but we beat them when they weren't very good. So.
They have improved. Well, of course, that's another thing we've got to watch out for now, isn't it? Because we're in this point now at the season where, things keep trundling along as they are and we'll be safe. Except that, as well as I do, that there's always a team that sort of drops like a stone into that. It looks safe in sort of February, March, and then goes on some sort of dreadful run and then drops like a stone into that relegation zone. So that's something that we've got to be wary of today. So I think this is a winnable game. I think Braintree, even though they're quite high, they are chasing for playoff positions, but they're still sort of 2 or 3 games behind everybody in that top 5 as well, aren't they? So I still think this is a winnable game. We beat them on their patch. We can beat them here. We've got the confidence of a victory over the team in second place and one of the leaders in the National League. And I think today the Lions triumphant will be. So in a moment I'll hand you over for live commentary, full match commentary with Nick Keefe and Colin Robertson. The teams are coming out onto the pitch now. Guiseley in white shirts and blue shorts. Braintree in orange shirts and white shorts with those luminous orange socks. Looking a little like Blackpool. Well, sorry about that. We just had a little technical glitch there, but hopefully we're back on air and coming through clear. Adney Dudley now on the ball, on towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Tries to cut in field. He's blocked and it's gone behind. Actually, it's going to be Guiseley's first corner of the game. And the Lions now have a chance to curl this one in with Nicky Boschel on the left-hand side.
First real good opportunity for Guiseley going forward. Anthony Dudley in the box. Turned away well by the defender, but plenty of tall men in the box for this corner.
Corner curls in from Nicky Boschel in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away, drilled in by Norburn from the edge of the area. Again, there's enough orange shirts in there to block the effort. Emil Sinclair picks the ball up though on the outside of the penalty area, away from goal. Gives it back to Norburn, ball in towards Jake Lawler, but it's well cut out by Kenny Davis, and now guys, you have to defend as Braintree come away with the ball, and guys, now having a bit of work to do. And it's Matt Payne. Payne crosses in field, and the ball has been given away by Braintree and picked up now by Oliver Norburn.
Yeah, you've got a bit of a job on your hands today, Colin. We've just having a look at the players who are out there. They're all wearing different numbered shirts to the ones that are on our team sheet. I can tell you Mitch Brundle's number 7, if that's any good to you.
Now Guiseley having to defend. The ball is into the box. And Danny Boschel gets a good firm challenge in. The ball's played up and helped away by Rob Atkinson. If we sound a little disjointed just for a moment, a few little technical gremlins we had a few moments ago, but we think we've got them resolved now and we're hopefully coming through clear.
You've brought your usual technical luck with you.
Yeah, no, it was all fine.
We were fine on Tuesday.
I was tuning in, I was listening, it was absolutely, smooth, no problems whatsoever.
It's good to have you back.
Oh, well, it's glad that somebody's finally said that. Braintree are on the ball. It's allowing that left-hand side, and a firm challenge in on Akinola. It's gone behind for a corner. And now Guiseley again having to defend. There's been a lot of corners early on in this game. This one from the left-hand side.
Let's hope they use it better than that wasted short corner a few minutes ago. Well, let's not hope that, but...
Braintree crossed this one in, head away by Danny Boschel.
Forget whose side we're on sometimes. I don't get much practice.
And now Guiseley still penned back in their final third here. Still 0-0.
Surprising number of players wearing Dayglow boots as well as Dayglow shirts for the away team.
Ball into the area has been headed away, but picked up again. And again, there's a chance here for the visitors to get the ball in the box. Davis on that left-hand side. The cross comes in long and deep, looking for Cheek, who was on the right flank, but this time it's over him and behind for a goal kick. But Braintree certainly started the brighter of the two sides, in my view.
Was that deliberate?
It wasn't deliberate.
You're talking about a team who look like they've been the victims of an explosion in a fluorescent dye factory. Yes, they have played brightly as well. Yeah, certainly the stronger of the two teams in the early going. Guiseley really yet to get started.
Might do something here with Nicky Boschel. Anthony Dudley heads in field. Danny Boschel back towards Nicky. But it's intercepted, and Akinola now gets the ball and is brought to ground by Danny Lowe. And that means that the home side will get a free kick. Cheek boots the ball towards the goal from distance, and it trundles in. Obviously the game has stopped. Ironic cheers from the Braintree fans behind the goal there, who equally you can't miss because they have the same luminous orange supporter wear, hats and coats. And the visitors now set themselves for this free kick with Brundle not to take. In fact, it's Isaac who plays it into the box, and it's drilled in from the edge of the 18-yard box. The referee's seen an infringement. In fact, there was an offside in the build-up to that move, and it's going to be a Guiseley free kick inside the penalty area.
I don't think it's just our disjointed kind of technical problems. It's been quite a strange start to the game. It feels like we've joined something about 70 minutes in. Not a lot of pace, not a lot of passing movement. We just seem to have picked up a sort of a quite a scrappy game that was already in progress.
We'll be tracking the scores from the other Vanarama national games and the North, and the trophy, of course, which is where we might have been had we been able to overcome Dover a couple of weeks ago. Guys in possession of the ball at the moment, and the ball's played back here to Brundle, and back to Tom King, the goalkeeper, whose name I'm afraid we haven't had to mention too often. Rolled out here to Danny Hall.
Huge distance on that clearance by King, so much so that it bounced first on the edge of Atkinson's area. No danger, but that's a weapon that they'll want to use.
Sinclair closing down, trying to block Matt Payne's clearance. The ball ricochets back to the goalkeeper. King himself returns the ball upfield, and only as far as Brundle. Brundle now on the ball in the middle of the park, across to Matt Payne. Matt Payne with a crossfield ball. It's a good one, and Edgar chases that down, but it's intercepted well by Hurst, who lofts the ball into the cricket field. Beyond, it'll be another Braintree throw, this time about level with the edge of the penalty area on the left-hand side. Guiseley set themselves again in defensive duties. Still scoreless. Braintree have had about 4-5 corners in this early stages. They've had plenty of pressure. The ball goes in here to Kenny Davis, who returns it to Edgar. He puts the ball high into the penalty area. Danny Atkinson is underneath it, plucks the ball out of the air, rolls it into the feet of Danny Hall. Hall and Norburn exchange passes. Danny Hall, from a regular fixture now in recent weeks at centre half, plays it forward, finds Nicky Boschel into Norburn. Norburn's closed down very swiftly, and Danny Lowe does really well to take the ball past Akinola with a lovely little chip. Gives the ball into Nicky Boschel now. Nicky Boschel back into Lowe crossfield pass, trying to pick out Norburn. It's well watched though, and unfortunately Kenny Davis was too quick for that one and intercepted, and then the ball returned all the way back to Dan Atkinson. Oh, and a dangerous ball there from Danny Hall to Rob Atkinson. Few inches away from Michael Cheek, who could have intercepted and been clean through on goal. I'm not sure Matt Bauer would have been too impressed with that moment. But guys, he's still on the ball now with Oliver Norburn on the halfway line. Square now to Danny Boschel. Danny Boschel upfield towards Nicky Boschel. Good 1-2 between the brothers. Referee gives a free kick though, because Danny Boschel is bundled over by Shez Isaac, who will in turn be spoken to by today's referee, Tom Neild. And guys, you have a free kick, a good sort of 35 yards from goal. It's going to be some distance, but in a good position to get the ball into the box.
Yeah, it's a long way out. They've tried to take it short, actually, just as I say that, and the referee's absolutely not having that. They spotted an opportunity, didn't they, Colin?
I can see that both ways, but that is frustrating when you want to get a quick kick going. And it was a good ball from Norburn to find Nicky Boschel on the edge of the 18-yard box. The referee prefers to set this one up, though. Norburn can strike these, though, can he, Nick?
Yeah, he's absolutely capable of shooting from this range.
Norburn actually opts to go left with a crossfield pass and gives it back to Norburn from Danny Lowe. So, guys, not in the best of shapes from the free kick. In the end, it's very disappointing. You can hear the groans around the ground because Danny Hall has opted to play the ball to the right-hand side, and that just gives the ball back to Braintree. Poor free kick from Guiseley, and now down the other end, the visitors march on, but they can't keep the ball in play. Kenny Davis it was, and it's out for a Guiseley throw, but frustrating moment there.
Very indicative of how a few Guiseley players have started the game, just sort of trying to pick up from where they were on Tuesday, haven't really focused on the matter at hand. And as you say, Danny Hall, nobody was showing for him at all at the end of that move. At the very least, you'd expect someone to peel out wide, out to the edge of the box to offer an outlet. And in the end, Danny had to play the ball out there, even though there was no one to receive the pass.
Now Braintree have made some headway, got the ball into the box, headed away. Cheek was the target from Edgar. Again, the throw for the visitors on the left-hand side. Ball distributed into the box, up towards Akinoli, headed away, punched away by Dan Atkinson. Under pressure as well. Nicky Boschel trying to win the ball. Oh dear, and Nicky Boschel's been penalised for allegedly fouling Isaac, but I'm afraid I just don't see that one at all. He was unfortunately conceding the free kick in that position.
Well, you give me a person jogging in a straight line, and I will win you a free kick by pretending to be fouled by them. That was absolutely shocking. Throwing yourself into them and then bouncing yourself away. And the referee's bought one, I'm afraid.
Free kick now. Sam Habigham is stood over this one for Braintree. He can drill this one in from distance. He crosses it in towards the penalty area, and it's then flipped towards the goal by Michael Cheek, but he hits the outside of the netting, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, a bit of a let-off actually. Braintree are looking very dangerous. They look quite quick, they look strong in possession, and they're closing down very well. Guiseley really yet to get out of the blocks.
On the trophy, Grimsby are 1-0 up against Woking. Perhaps no surprise there. Goal kick has been taken. Guiseley have the ball with James Hurst in right back position. Goes back to Rob Atkinson. Guys are not making any headway. They're struggling to deal with the high tempo play of Braintree. It goes upfield towards Sinclair, and in the end Matt Payne opts to launch it into the George Stocks stand, which seems to be standing alone for the moment with the groundworks that are going on. Ball's into the feet of Jake Lawler. Oliver Norburn now on the ball. Plays it in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Sinclair turns out to the right-hand side where Dudley is on the angle of the penalty area. Plays it into the 6-yard box. Comfortable for Tom King to claim.
It's a desperately poor final ball, actually, that from the young man Dudley. And while Guiseley have shown signs of life down the left, down the right, it's been restricted to long balls. And at the moment, neither James Hurst nor Dudley has made a particularly strong start to the game. We saw on Tuesday how effective they can be, especially with Hurst so willing to overlap. They have a lot to do and have been well shackled by their defenders as they lose out again over that side, and it gives Braintree a chance to push all of their players forward into the Guiseley half with a free kick, and Guiseley are penned back again. Pinned back. Penned in or penned back?
I think you'd be penned. You can be pinned. Braintree have a free kick. We're sort of giving up the ghost already. We're the two pessimists you probably shouldn't have on the commentary. It's floated into the box.
We need a bit of Chris Bell hyperbole just to brighten things up.
The free kick that's gone in towards the edge of the 18-yard area has been
brilliant header.
Nodded away. Hello, Chris, if you're listening.
No, he's not. He's abandoned us.
Tell you who is listening is Bob Jeffrey, and I want to make a big shout out to you, Bob. And after you being able to tune in from the hospital, get yourself back here as soon as possible, please.
Yeah.
The ball's gone long now from Braintree, and a very tame free kick has been given against Hurst. Unfortunately, Anthony Edgar went to ground, and referee Tom Neild has given a free kick about 10-15 yards up from the angle of the penalty area, and it's a real chance this for Braintree to get a cross into the box, and they're bringing the big men forward now as they recover the ball.
Yeah, real danger this for Guiseley. They do have plenty of tall men in the side, Guiseley, with Lawler and Hurst. Norburn is not short himself, as well as the centre-backs. But there are some dangerous sized Braintree players in there.
5 on the edge of the box for Braintree to aim for. Those ones crossed in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's flicked on and then just goes beyond. Two players collide with each other and go into the hoardings, and they're both Braintree attacking at the back of the goal, and they're both on the ground at the moment. It was a nasty collision right in front of the away fans just out on the outside of the goal. I think they're both okay. They're both getting onto the haunches, but it was a nasty bump, and both physios from both sides are out there to tend to the two Braintree players. Martin Stringfellow across as well.
Yeah, and the Guiseley club doctor, Andy Smith, straight out of the stand as well and running down. And it looked like a clash of heads as well as a collision with the fences at the end of the ground, as you say, Colin. Not a huge runoff area at all behind the goal, such a compact ground. And we'll just wait. It was good to see the Martin Stringfellow was sent straight on there with the Braintree physio. And
happily, it looked worse than I think it probably has transpired. Both are up on their feet and everything's fine. So that's
well,
That's good to see.
A little bit of grogginess. I think Michael Cheek was up a little bit earlier, a little bit sooner, as you say. There's potentially a leg or a hip injury now being looked at as well on the other player who's down there. And I confess I can't see who it is, Colin. I don't know if you can, but he's trotting back onto the field now.
No, I can't either until he turns round. And even then the shirts sort of glare out the numbers on the backs for me today.
Yeah.
It's the centre half, I think, Matt Payne, who was the other player involved. It's a goal kick anyway. Happily, all has turned out well from that. And from our point of view, the ball wasn't turned in. Boreham would have scored a goal, though. They're 1-0 up at Southport. Southport haven't had the recent run of form that they were showing earlier on. And now Boreham would. A hot goal ahead at The Hague. At Hague Avenue, rather. The Hague. Guiseley clear the ball and send it downfield. It's all this orange, and it's been recovered by the goalkeeper Tom King and taking it back into his penalty area.
Well, I'm not going to be found guilty of making any jokes about The Hague.
The ball nodded forward.
It might not be our problem anymore soon.
to the feet of Anthony Egner. It's a slip on the edge of the area from Michael Cheek. Cheek can't control the ball, but Braintree still retain possession. The ball played into the area beyond the back line, out for a goal kick. Don't forget, you can tweet us at Guiseley Radio if you're tuning in. If there's any comments, let us know we're still on air. Let us know you're not asleep. It's a rather unusual circumstance there. The goal kick went short to Rob Atkinson. It was closed down again very swiftly from Kenny Davis. Guiseley really finding that the midfielders and the front men are working ever so hard to close down the lines in the final third, but a free kick was identified, not quite sure what for, from the referee and the assistant on this near side. Guys, get a second stab at it.
Might have just felt a bit sorry for us. Really struggling to get time on the ball. Every pass looks like it's in danger of being cut out. And that's something that we've done to a few other teams, although we don't always do it for 90 minutes as one of the part-time clubs in the division, but it's very, very hard to play against.
Nicky Boschel now chests the ball down, plays it to the left-hand side. Guys are getting a rare foray forward. Ball into the penalty area, looking for Norburn, but cut out by the Braintree defence. Nicky Boschel picks up the second phase, though, crosses into the box over the head of Anthony Dudley, and then Anthony Edgar can take the ball away. Goes long up into the Lions half. Danny Hall volleys it towards Hurst. Hurst does well to keep it in play. And then he's clipped by Kenny Davis, and it'll be a free kick to Guiseley just inside their own half.
Yeah, on Tuesday, when the defence were in possession, they didn't just play the ball out to the channels or out to another person, out to another area of the pitch. They were always playing it to somebody, but there's been an awful lot of Hall and Atkinson at the back being under so much pressure that they do just have to move the ball into an area and hope that someone can get onto it. And we don't have a lot of height up there. That's not what the team's set up for. It's bypassing our midfield, and it's working really well for Braintree.
Ball's just been played back to Dan Atkinson. Dan Atkinson on the ball now, looking for options ahead. He has 2 or 3 to aim for in the final third. It's up here towards Emil Sinclair, but the header's been won. Chipped down now by Rob Atkinson. Given to Hurst. Hurst plays it up into the body of Anthony Dudley. Spins on the ball, but Braintree managed to shepherd the ball out and into touch for a throw in their left-back position. Chance for us to give you a couple of goals, actually. In the Vanarama National North, there's been a few. Stalybridge 1, Telford 1. Telford had led in that. Hensford 1, Brackley 0. Solihull Moors 0, Tamworth 2. Another potential change at the top of that division. Harrogate Town doing so well. Curzon Ashton 0, Bradford Park Avenue 1. Some of the local sides finding their results are going in their favour. Macclesfield 0, Wrexham 1. Just literally come through now. That's a Vanarama National game. And Wrexham, of course, due here very shortly, as we have some big teams coming over the next few weeks to Nethermoor. Braintree, meanwhile, have a throw actually midway through the Lions half. It looks like they're going to loft this one long into the box, and they do. It's flicked on by Akinole, and Guiseley now struggling to get hold of the ball.
still up in the air. Akinola again, the target man. Davis nods it back down to him. Akinola's shot that time not so hot, and a swiped at volley of the ball has gone wide, and Guiseley will have the goal kick.
They do seem to have, Braintree, both a height advantage and an energy advantage. It's too early in the afternoon to call it a fitness advantage, but they are moving more quickly, they're covering the ground well and snuffing out anything Guiseley tried to get going. Without that, having said that, them getting too many shots on goal, but they've looked in a couple of inches of making something really dangerous a few times now.
Oh, there's a little header back there from Rob Atkinson towards Dan Atkinson. And it was chased down brilliantly by Michael Cheek, who never gave it up. And Dan Atkinson just gets there ahead of the Braintree attacker, but it was a little bit of a hair-raising moment here watching it from the stands.
And it's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I'm talking because what's happening out on the pitch shouldn't bring any chances, and out of a routine piece of tidying up at the back, nearly Braintree getting on goal.
Well, there's a correction to that Macclesfield score. It's still goalless between them and Wrexham. That often happens. Guiseley battling and trying to scrabble to win the ball, and again Braintree get the free kick. It's hard to see what for, but it's not to say it wasn't a valid reason. Guiseley battle hard to win the ball back here with Anthony Dudley. Plays it down the right-hand side here, looking for Emil Sinclair. Sinclair wins it. The Braintree man goes to ground. No free kick though. Back onto the edge of the area. Oliver Norman strikes. Great save from the goalkeeper. There was a shout for a penalty as well in all of that, but Oliver Norman struck the ball so well from the edge of the tee. But a superb reaction save from Tom King, and it's behind for a Guiseley corner.
Oh, it was a lovely move. The first good move of the game by Guiseley. A fantastic strike. It was curling into the top corner. Perfect save by King. Very tall keeper. Got up high and wide. 2 hands behind it to turn it round for a corner.
Well, we're waiting for a ball to be returned because the netting, of course, behind the goal as part of the rebuild works is missing currently.
It's not the only thing missing. Got a better view of the cricket pitch than normal. Shame there's not a game there today.
Yeah, I know.
Could have got 2 for 1.
Corner comes in towards the 6-yard box. Lawler leaps, but he's headed that one high and wide. And it's a goal kick to Braintree. But almost first blood to Guiseley. A superb strike from Oliver Norburn. Great work from Emil Sinclair on the right-hand side. And Guiseley will be encouraged by that passage of play.
Yeah, the home fans as well as the home players really needed that. It's woken everyone up in the ground a little bit, I think.
Chorley 1, Lowestoft 0 in the Vanarama National North. Header clear from Danny Hall out to really only give Braintree a throw, which Brundle takes. He throws it infield, and Akinola wins the ball. Now Sinclair battling to try and win the second phase from Guiseley, but again Braintree setting up camp inside the Lions half. And on this left-hand side, Edgar shows a bit of skill, cuts in field, crosses in towards a penalty spot, helped away, nodded up in the air there by Isaac. Guiseley still battling hard, trying to win the ball back. Danny Boschel can't. Edgar does. Now the Lions are under a bit of pressure here. Haberham gets the ball into the area, up towards the back post where Akinola is. Free kick's given. Akinola's judged to have pushed Danny Lowe at that back post. He headed high and wide anyway. It's a Guiseley free kick.
That's quite a tumble there actually Danny Lowe took underneath that. He's up and fine. But it was a really good ball, just dropping down onto the edge of the 6-yard box, coming in diagonally. They're very, very hard to defend. The ball that's dropping down almost vertically the way it came down. It's hard to get a good, strong clearing header on that, and it was just away from the keeper Atkinson too.
So Atkinson takes the goal kick, finds the chest of Emil Sinclair, thumps into his chest. He controls well, but Braintree still win the second phase back, and then there's a bit of a lunge from Danny Boschel. Takes out Woodyard. Second goal for Boreham Wood now against Southport, 2-0. And Curzon Ashton have equalised against Bradford Park Avenue. Free kick now for Braintree, level with the edge of the centre circle, inside the Guiseley half.
Just going back to what you were saying earlier about the local sides, I'd love if we stayed up for Harrogate to come up.
Yeah,
that would be great on Boxing Day. Absolutely love that.
Saw an interview with Danny Ellis. He says they've got he's got a similar side feel to that side as they did with Guiseley last year.
Brilliant.
Ball's into the box now, and Guiseley defend that one and get the ball away with Oliver Norburn, who just chips the ball into Danny Boschel. Boschel sprays the ball out to this left-hand side. Well, finds Nicky Boschel just into the Braintree half. Guiseley with 3 forward now. Boschel to the right, left-hand side. Finds Danny Lowe, crosses towards the back post. It's Sinclair in here. Jake Lawler's almost there. Nicky Boschel strikes it. Great save off the line once again. Guiseley still pressing, and Braintree again live by their nerves and somehow prevent the ball going over the line. But the best 2 chances of this game now, surely, have been Guiseley's.
Well, that's what we saw on Tuesday night. We saw an awful lot of that sort of goalmouth action, and it was scintillating stuff. At that time, the shot that went straight into the chest of the Braintree defender, almost if it had gone anywhere else, it would have been hard to keep out. With the keeper backpedaling, really good. Signs of life from Guiseley. More of that needed.
Phillips now on the ball for the home side. Mark Phillips raking cross is cut out. Danny Boschel intercepts. James Hurst on right back position plays it upfield towards Sinclair, who looks a little isolated, but Guiseley win the second phase, and then Anthony Dudley with a rather careless touch gives possession back. But it's won back here by Oliver Norburn and Rob Atkinson inside the Lions half, but again pressed so swiftly by Kenny Davis and Michael Cheek. Guiseley do keep possession though, and they keep the ball ticking over. Good movement now. Danny Boschel to the left-hand side. Nicky Boschel has a chance to feed through towards Danny Lowe. Danny Lowe keeps the ball in play. Could have let it go out for a corner. Gives it back to Nicky Boschel. His cross strikes the face of Brundle and goes behind for a Guiseley corner.
Really good work down the left again. That seems to be where the best of Guiseley's play is. Honestly, Anthony Dudley hasn't really got going yet today with his passing. But down the left, if you can get Nicky Boschel free, Danny Lowe's been really willing to overlap and offer a second chance to get a cross in. Corner ball.
Guiseley 5 up again. The big men are up there. James Hurst also. It's only Danny Lowe probably the furthest back, and he's way into the Braintree half. It's crossed in here, in towards the near post and cleared. Danny Lowe will collect and return the ball in towards the Braintree box, but that time it's comfortably defended. Danny Lowe has to watch the on-rushing and oncoming Alex Woodyard, who was giving good chase there. Lowe gets the ball back to Dan Atkinson and receives it back from him, and the Lions are being urged on by the home fans who sense that there is a goal in the offing if they can keep this pressure going. Norburn now floats it in towards the edge of the 18-yard box, headed away. Braintree back in possession. Akinola dispossessed by Norburn. Guiseley concede the throw, but it looked like the other way round. Nick looks apoplectic here.
I just woke up as well. Oh well.
But it's a Braintree throw.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody else was appealing from it apart from us.
I don't know what I saw.
The throw goes long upfield. Bit of a shout for handball against the Braintree defender, but nothing given. Seemed harsh if it had been. And Akinola now spins on the ball and comes away with it up towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Goes to ground. Free kick has been gifted to Braintree. Once again, Rob Atkinson went in towards the body of Akinola, and Akinola was down to the ground very swiftly on that occasion. Free kick now to Braintree, just a yard up from the edge of the D.
Oh, it's pathetic dive, and absolutely no excuse for that. There's no contact between the players. He's just folded because he doesn't fancy his chances one-on-one.
So now, referee having a word with Rob Atkinson. Guiseley around the referee. They do restrain the protest. Rob Atkinson clearly frustrated, continuing the frustration with the referee, not taking it too far, thankfully. And now Guiseley will have a very difficult free kick, which really they shouldn't be facing to defend. As a yard out from the edge of the D, it's bang in the centre of the goal by the angle of this, and the Lions have a tough task here as Braintree set this up.
Akinola had actually done really well to get away from Jake Lawler's challenge. He'd just played it on past him and then ridden the challenge from Lawler, but the ball was slightly ahead of him and he didn't fancy his chances, so he just went to ground as soon as the defender came near him, and it's very frustrating to see.
3 over the ball. Kenny Davis and Haberham hits it, and it's just palmed over by Dan Atkinson. He made sure he watched that one very carefully because it was a good delivery from Haberham. He'd killed it over the wall and it was dipping under the crossbar, but a good aware piece of goalkeeping from Dan Atkinson to tip that one over for a corner to Braintree.
Yeah, it was coming in just under the apex. Good save.
Corner comes in into the 6-yard box, flicked on at the back post now. Braintree still in possession of the ball. Akinola inside the penalty area, dispossessed by Nicky Boschel. Counter-attack on possibly for Guiseley. Emil Sinclair in his own half can turn and play the ball forward. He's got James Hurst ahead of him. Emil Sinclair opts to run with it. Plays it up against the feet of Brundle, gets the ball back, then loses out. It goes out for a corner, and it just looked like Emil Sinclair might have had a tug at Brundle as well. It's gone behind for a corner to the Lions though. Good work though.
Well, it was a good run. I thought it was strange that he didn't actually pass it to Hurst, who was ahead of him and waiting for it. He almost ran into him and then passed him. Anyway, he's won a corner. Good opportunity for Guiseley. Men in the box again. Now, Colin, the reason that Guiseley are only leaving one back is Braintree are leaving no one up front at these corners.
Corner comes in up towards the back post. It's headed in by Rob Atkinson off the line. Off the line, and now Guiseley have to watch for the counter-attack because Akinola has got the ball and played it up now here. And Jake Lawler trips Michael Cheek and will go into the book. And he will be the first one into the book this afternoon. Michael Cheek was away from him. I think Jake Lawler just ran across him, held him up. Guiseley concede the free kick inside the Braintree half, but the counter-attack was on.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see anything in that. I really didn't. It wouldn't be a bad place to commit a foul and take one for the team. But I didn't see the contact.
I don't think he stretched a leg, but I think he made sure he went into the player just enough to clap him. So,
okay.
From my perspective, I think it's a fair call, but don't want to be...
It's fine, we won't fight over it.
Well, I'm not talking to you now. Grimsby 2, Woking 0. Boston United 1, Worcester City 0. Boston United also doing well in the National North. Beat Bradford Park Avenue midweek. I think they're in 4th at the start of play. Grimsby now 2-0 up. Not hearing any scores from the Nantwich-Dover game. That could have been us. But as it is, we're here at Braintree. 0-0 at the moment. The free kick goes in long. It's nodded down straight into the hands of Dan Atkinson. And 7 minutes to go to the break. Guys, you've had probably the better of the chances, although in terms of possession and total play, I think Braintree have been the side that we think they're on top. But guys, you grow more into this game as it goes on.
Yeah, it took a good while for Guiseley to get going, but they have looked a lot better in the latter part of this half. That doesn't mean they can afford to switch off, because we've seen how lively Braintree are.
Sinclair spins on the ball. He's very closely attended to, though, by Woodyard. Danny Boschel now in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Emil Sinclair back to goal, can't get the spin on the ball to get past his man. Gives it to Hurst on the right-hand side. Hurst takes it past one, chips the ball into the box, over Sinclair, nobody at the back post. Norburn tries to close it down, forces a poor clearance, which gives the ball to Danny Lowe. Danny Lowe crosses from the middle of the park out to the right-hand side. Hurst controls, under pressure, looks for the cross, up against Edgar, blasts the ball against Edgar, and it's out for a Guiseley corner on the right-hand side.
Yeah, good work again. This time Hurst sticking at his task going forward. Made himself a couple of opportunities to get a ball in there. Another corner. As I said before, Colin, Braintree leaving absolutely nobody up on the break, trusting themselves to play out on the break. And it doesn't mean Guiseley get an extra player in the box, because they only need to leave one back.
So the corner now from this right-hand side, played in by Nicky Boschel in towards the 6-yard box, but to be fair, those bodies have done well to clear every ball that's been put in there. Nicky Boschel plays it back to Danny Boschel. Danny Boschel crosses in towards the back post. It's up there to Rob Atkinson, gets the header. It flights past the upright and behind for a goal kick. But a good delivery from Danny Boschel, and Rob Atkinson jumped well. And now the counter-attack is on very swiftly from the goal kick. The ball played right up to Akinola, who'd managed to speed off and away from Danny Boschel. Dan Atkinson, out of his goal swiftly, puts the ball out for a throw-in. And Guiseley then win the ball back from the throw. Much better defending from the Lions in the last 10-15 minutes, I'd say. And Dan Atkinson this time has the ball safely in his hands.
Yeah, that was the really powerful, good depth goal kicking from Tom King again there. First bounce was barely outside the Guiseley area.
Ball now chipped forward, looking to get Nicky Boschel into play. It's only gone through to the goalkeeper. Danny Hall under pressure. Again, plays the ball in towards Danny Lowe. Lowe's closed down by Cheek, but Cheek concedes a throw. Guys again being pressed. Danny Lowe Does well though, gets the ball in field inside his own half and finds Rob Atkinson. Danny Boschel pressed by Kenny Davis. High closing down play from Braintree. Slightly less effective in this last 10-15 minutes than it was in the early stages of the game, but still a thorn in the Lions' side when they're trying to build up from the back. Norburn into the feet of Emil Sinclair. Good ball over the top towards Danny Lowe, headed away by Akinola, who's in defensive duties. Danny Lowe takes the throw short, but Norburn is closed down by Cheek, and now Braintree can come away with the ball. It's Kenny Davis who chips the ball up towards Cheek. Cheek takes it down brilliantly through, clear on a goal, 1-on-1 with Dan Atkinson, places it past him, and as Guiseley were getting on top, the sucker punch has happened. Michael Cheek has broken through and scored the lead for Braintree. It's Guiseley 0, Braintree 1.
Yeah, a moment of real quality from Braintree after Norburn was caught in possession by a striker. I think it was Cheek, in fact, coming back to close him down. He didn't expect anybody to come from behind him. The ball was nipped away at the beginning of that move to get Braintree possession. Then that first touch from Cheek, he gave himself loads of space, loads of time, beating the defender. Goalkeeper stranded 1-on-1, and a lovely finish into the bottom corner. Real quality and class. The first decisive moment of it in the game, and it gives Braintree a good goal and a 1-0 lead going into half-time.
So 2 minutes to go before the break. Lions now trail by a 1-0. Michael Cheek, the goal scorer for the visitors. Forest Green now 1-0 up against Barrow. Alfreton 1-0 up against Fylde in the National North. Hensford 2-0 up against Brackley. The Lions, as we say, trailing now by a 1-0. Norburn on the ball inside his own half. Sprays the ball out to the right-hand side, and it's nodded back here to Haberham. He can take his time and launch the ball forward. Headed away by Rob Atkinson. Taken down well by, Dudley. And then it's out. And it's going to be a Braintree throw on the halfway line. It's frustrating, isn't it, again, to see guys just beginning to be the more dominant side and look like they're going to make the breakthrough and then be caught out on the sucker punch.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, Braintree, sorry, Nick. And Braintree can pick up the ball again here with Edgar. Edgar gets a slip as he goes to cross, but it's well defended. Still by Hurst to clear, but up to the halfway line. Guys, you're now feeling a little bit more pressed in the final stage of this first half. The ball long again into the penalty area. Edgar goes up for it, and the referee's given an Edgar a free kick as he went up for the foul for the header with Anthony Dudley. Rather perplexing free kick to me again. It's on the angle of the penalty area on the left-hand side. Good chance for Braintree to put this ball into the box. 4 or 5 orange shirts in there. And Guiseley with a lot of work to do to defend this just before the break. Don't want to be 2-0 down into the break. The ball goes up towards the back post, headed up in the air. It's at 6s and 7s. Dan Atkinson leaps into the air inside the 6-yard area after having to recover his position from initially going to intercept the ball at the back post. He grabs the ball well, and it's now in the hands of the Guiseley goalkeeper.
Yeah, good take that by the young keeper under pressure.
Ball goes forward from Guiseley, but quickly repelled by Braintree. And Guiseley now need to plot a way forward. As we hit the 45-minute mark, there'll be 2 minutes of stoppage time. Dan Atkinson clips the ball up towards Emil Sinclair. He can't get the flick on. The ball is cleared and picked up by Hurst. Hurst plays it infield, and it's a poor ball. Braintree now in possession inside their own half. And look ahead for options. And it's a crossfield ball. Great crossfield ball from Brundle to pick out Edgar. Dudley closes down. It's been an entertaining sort of game. Not as entertaining as this. Stalybridge 3, Telford 2 in the north. So we head to half time.
That's a 3 o'clock kickoff?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I can't trust all the data we've been getting because Hensford were 2-0 up. Now I've just had a correction say Brackley are 2-0 up against Hensford. Gonna give up. Hey, it's not the BBC. It's a goal kick now for Guiseley, which Dan Atkinson takes. He lofts this one up. Sinclair leaps but can't make the connection. Guiseley get the ball back in their own half here with Danny Lowe. He's under pressure from Akinola, who robs the ball off him. Davis now into the feet of Brundle. Played up here towards Cheek. Cheek keeps the ball ticking over, finds Kenny Davis. Chipped into the box up towards Cheek. Cheek heads it on, and Danny Hall forced to clear. But his clearance isn't very convincing. Akinola picks the ball up again. Isaac Akinola on the right flank with the opportunity to cross if he can get away from Danny Lowe. Akinola goes towards the byline. Lowe sticks to his task. Nicky Boschel gets a foot in there, but Isaac gets the second phase and cross into the box. Picked up now at the edge of the area, and it's an effort from Alex Woodyard that curls away from goal and behind for a goal kick.
A good opportunity for Woodyard, and shooting across goal, tricky to do. He scuffed it and dragged it wide. Actually, it would have been very difficult to save if that had been on target. Last action of the half.
Well, the half-time whistle goes, and Guiseley are a goal down to Braintree. It's Michael Cheek who's broken the deadlock for the visitors as the Lions pressed well beforehand but weren't able to capitalise. Norburn's save shot was well saved by Tom King. There was a couple of other opportunities for the Lions, but Braintree have been more clinical. Michael Cheek with a great first touch on the ball and a good finish, hitting the bottom right-hand corner. Gives the Eye in the lead at the break. Half-time here. Braintree, Guiseley 0, Braintree 1. So with that, I'm going to get a cup of tea and hand you over to the dulcet tones of Dave Kendra and Tom Feeney.
Thanks, Colin. And it's frustration again here for the Lions at Nethermoor at half-time as we trail by a 0 to Braintree Town, although there are reasons to be cheerful. For 5 or 10 minutes there, the Lions were moving the ball around well, creating opportunities. Norburn, but for a wonder save from the Braintree keeper, would have put the Lions 1-0 up, and a scramble in front of goal that just didn't quite come off for the Lions. But we found a bit of room down the left-hand side. Nicky Boschel and Danny Lowe have been working well. James Hurst looks dangerous as always, and Emil Sinclair.
We know he can, and sometimes that, just goes direct.
So the Lions have come out. They've been sent back out well before Braintree. They're just waiting for their opponents to emerge. We'll see them coming in that bright orange kit. We won't miss them unless they've got caught up in roadworks again outside. I'm not sure.
It's an interesting one where, Mark, it does seem like all the Guiseley players have been sent out nice and early, while the Braintree players probably just sat in the dressing room. They'll take it to the final moment. The Guiseley players already doing a nice little warm up as well, just getting ready. And you were talking there about that goal. I think the Braintree fans, they've turned up in decent number. It has to be said for the journey. Yeah. They seem to have, been really making some noise just before half time. And the half-time whistle, like you said, probably has come at the right time, just because now the Braintree fans, probably won't be making as much noise for the start of the second half, and Guiseley can get going, and hopefully Guiseley can get the goal and, get the win as well.
Let's hope so. Come on, you Lions. The second half, hopefully, Guiseley can get themselves back into this game. Second half commentary with Nick Keefe, but beginning with Colin Robertson.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Tom. Half time, eh? What fun we had. It was interesting to see the power went off a couple of times. You might have picked up a couple of glitches at half time, but we're back and we've sorted out all of the glitches that might have occurred, so do stick with us.
We haven't sorted out the ones that haven't occurred yet, though.
Yeah, well, I
get the impression there's more to come.
There always is more to come. It's one of those days. We were just joshing with the guys from Braintree before the break, and they're saying, "Where's the nearest loo?" And I said, "We don't know. Let's think about it. Where is it this week?"
Yeah, I mean the new block for them's coming up quite well down in that far corner.
The work is going on very well, to be fair. So we are going to have a change actually for Guiseley. And it's the introduction of Gavin Rothery. We're witnessing both teams out on the field, but the change has just been made there. The fourth official just holding up the board. What do you make of that, Nick?
Well, I didn't think Danny Boschel had a particularly poor first half. He was putting himself about a bit and throwing himself into challenges. I would say, though, that was his third game in a week. Today is his third game in a week, having played all of last Saturday, I think, and certainly all of Tuesday. Gavin Rothery came on Tuesday night. He will certainly bring a bit of energy. It allows Norburn to drop a little bit deeper, where I still think he's a little bit more comfortable, actually. Smaller amounts of ground to cover and can dictate the possession play tempo a little bit more easily. Gavin Rothery will move around in behind the striker, in between the lines of the midfield and defence, and see if he can find extra space in there. So not a bad change. I didn't think Danny had played badly, though.
Back underway now. Braintree in possession of the ball.
There are no bad changes, in fact, for Guiseley today, looking at the bench.
The ball down the left-hand side, and Hurst has to clear that from right-back position from Guiseley's perspective. Up to the halfway line, nodded on now by Edgar. Cleared again by Rob Atkinson, but only as far as Isaac, and Isaac goes running through that back line, plays the ball in towards Cheek inside the penalty area, gets the ball back off him, and then shoots, and it takes a deflection. It's behind for a corner to Braintree, but Guiseley rather exposed rather too easily there by Braintree's passing and movement, and it's a corner to the visitors.
Yeah, really strong start to the second half by Braintree, and certainly their aim will be to carry on where they left off before the break. If they could pick up a second goal while Guiseley are trying to get themselves back into it after the half-time pause, then they could put this game out of sight.
Corner now to come in from this right-hand side, whipped in low towards Kenny Davis, who manages to get something on it. Dan Atkinson misses his punch. Guiseley managed to get the ball clear, though. Only as far as the halfway line. Payne lofts the ball back into the 18-yard box, headed away by Danny Hall, picked up again. This time by Edgar, who goes back, and the ball ticking over nicely for Braintree. Not so good for Guiseley at the moment. Haberhan has played it square now to Payne, and Payne plays it forward. Everybody in the Lions' half. Danny Lowe goes to win the ball, and a free kick has been given. And what he's done is Danny Hall's gone to launch for the ball, and the players actually stood into him, and a free kick's been given to Braintree.
And the free kick wasn't actually given at first. The referee signalled, as the linesman did, for a throw-in, and then sort of fell in with what the away fans and players were asking him for, and changed it to whistled for a free kick instead. Strange decision.
Classic backing in and a free kick for Guiseley usually. Free kick to Braintree here on the right-hand side. There's about 5 on the edge of the 18-yard box, headed away by Norburn. Guiseley in possession of the ball with Rothery, who will want for his attacking prowess, not his defensive work. But unfortunately at the moment he's in defensive duties. It's cleared and gone all the way back to Tom King, and at the moment this second half starting off very difficultly for the Lions. A goal down just before the break, Michael Cheek scoring for Braintree.
Yeah, guys, they just need to get themselves into the mindset of playing as the away team in this game. They have been closed down, and they've almost been surprised at having to make these long clearances. Actually, if they were away from home, then they would have been expecting this style, and they would have sort of settled into it sooner in the game, I think.
Well, Norburn just intercepts the ball in midfield and plays a rather loose pass forward when there was a good option on the right-hand side in Anthony Dudley. Hence the groans from the crowd you can probably hear. In the end, Payne tidies things up, sends it back to the goalkeeper, King, who lofts the ball clear to the halfway line, flicked on by Cheek, finds Edgar. And it's true, Anthony Edgar's had a very effective game for the visitors. On that occasion, the ball that goes forward towards Akinola rolls through to Dan Atkinson. Picked up now by Rob Atkinson, who plays the ball down the right-hand flank, and it's gone long, and Emil Sinclair will chase, but Payne is well ahead of him. Sinclair battles for it and goes in for a challenge, which, because he connects physically with the Braintree player, results in a free kick.
A perfect example of what Braintree are setting out to do to Guiseley here. The keeper makes the throw out to the attacking fullback out on the wing. That was James Hurst. Hurst is closed down. He has to turn inside and back to his central defender, Rob Atkinson. Atkinson is closed down. He has to give himself half a yard of space and launch it into the channel. No tall players up there for Guiseley, and Braintree coming back at them now.
Good interception from Lawler. Takes the ball away from Edgar, but plays the ball back, and he's almost closed down again, Dan Atkinson, by Cheek. As he do manage to get the ball away, though, Gavin Rothery then lays it back here to Danny Hall, up to the halfway line, and Nicky Bosher, when he gets the ball, is surrounded by 4 players. Does well to keep the ball moving for Guiseley, but still there's no space on the pitch for Guiseley to play into. But good work from Lawler and Anthony Dudley. Now Hurst on the right-hand side, the first positive piece of play from Guiseley in the second period. In the end, it's a poor ball from Norburn. He was trying to find Lowe on the left flank, but his pass is intercepted. Danny Lowe wasn't able to get it, and in the end it's a pass back from Danny Hall to Dan Atkinson that forces the Guiseley goalkeeper to launch the ball clear with his feet and concede a throw-in for Braintree about level with the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, and it is very good pressuring by Braintree. They're playing as a home side, and that's, as I say, I think what's taken a few people in the ground, not least some of the Guiseley players, maybe by surprise, but they are just not leaving any space for Guiseley to work in.
Throw comes into the box, it's flicked on. Guiseley don't clear the lines. Akinola on the ball, back to goal. Keeps it ticking over though. Edgar now. Edgar up against Hurst. Turns and gets the ball into the 18-yard box, but is closed down. Gavin Rothery on the edge of his own penalty area takes over. Plays the ball up towards Sinclair, but again Sinclair is second to the ball to Payne. This time it's up here to Sinclair from a chink forward, and Guiseley have a chance to attack now. Norburn's on the right-hand side, he's free. Norburn picks it up in the penalty area, plays it across the face of goal towards Sinclair, but it's stopped on the edge of the 6-yard box, and you can hear the home fans saying, why didn't you shoot Oliver Norburn, because he was through on goal and surely had a better angle to shoot at than the two inside infield, and Guiseley in the end spurn a great chance to test the goalkeeper Tom King.
Well, they just needed to be willing to shoot there. I mean, it was a very good break, good work, good movement, good pace, good following through by Emil Sinclair that time. The ball, as you say, played out wider to Norburn. He had to shoot early or risk playing it back in field. He decided not to shoot straight away, hold on to it, hit it square to one of the strikers in the box. Inevitably, with 2 strikers in the box and 1 Braintree defender, he found the feet of the Braintree defender and the move fizzled out. And it's very disheartening, and it's easy to criticise, but it is very disheartening when you see 3 Guiseley players in the box and only 1 defender, that nobody even takes a shot. And I know what they were trying to do, and I understand why they were trying to do it, but it's very frustrating not to see someone just have a go with the ball at their feet in the box and only the keeper to beat.
Well, Haberham is waiting for a throw ball to be returned to him. The ball has gone behind the stand here. Haberham has got the ball on the left-hand side and is going to try and find Braintree man. It's Kenny Davis who's the recipient of the ball. Up against Hurst, up in the corner flag. He loses possession and Guiseley get the goal kick. So a few other goals around. Bognor leading Torquay in the quarterfinals of the FA Trophy. Bognor 1, Torquay 0. York 0, Luton 1. We'll watch it out for that one because we're thinking if we can stay up, it'll be a decent away trip to York City, who are currently second bottom, losing to
again at the moment, and that goal-scoring game just continues. Stalybridge 5, Telford 2. 7 goals in that game, and it's far from finished. Tamworth 2-1 up against Solihull Moors. Solihull Moors getting a goal back. 53 minutes gone here, and it's still Guiseley 0, Braintree 1. And still the continuous running of that Braintree front line that's causing Guiseley problems, and they've once again forced Guiseley into a hurried clearance, but Anthony Dudley inside his own half has now played a ball straight to Michael Cheek. Picked up now here by Akinola on the right-hand side. He's cutting infield up against Norburn. Akinola keeps running, plays it out to the right flank for a cross to come into the box. This time Danny Hall intercepts and plays the ball out for a throw to Braintree. And Guiseley will set themselves to defend.
I wonder how long Mark will leave it before changing the strategy. Because if we're playing long balls out from defence, then we might need a change in personnel up front, I think.
Header comes in, picked up now by Norburn. One change already made, of course, at half-time. Danny Boschel went off, Gavin Rothery came on. If anything, that roll of the dice hasn't helped things as it stands. Hurst now plays the ball out to the left-hand side. Dudley collects, plays it into the feet of Norburn. Norburn can't get past Woodyard, who wins the ball into Akinola, who runs down the right-hand side. Danny Hall steps across and takes a deflection off Akinola, and it's a Guiseley throw in left-back position. Still 1-0 to Braintree as we hit the 55-minute mark. The throw taken, picked up now again by Brundle as Braintree again press. They get the throw from a deflection, which is sent long, flicked on by Kenny Davis. Stretching foot from Rob Atkinson to prevent Michael Cheek getting on the end of it. Guiseley come away with the ball. James Hurst in right back position. Again, forced to stop his momentum forward by Edgar. Guiseley play it long up towards Gavin Rothery over his head and collected again by Braintree, who in turn aren't pressed at the back as much. Although Dudley just try to inflict some of that pressure. Sinclair runs across, but Braintree get it up here. Edgar can't control the ball as it comes to him. And then a long one up towards Michael Cheek. Sees him slip and land on one.
And this is happening because guys are having to play very compactly in defence and the defensive midfield. So when the ball does get forward, actually, the players who are up there are further spaced apart, and it's harder to get the passes going. Although there was a danger of a good move there. It was called short prematurely.
Well, as I have to say, you could tell from the fans' reaction, they weren't happy about the offside call. Either frustrated that Nicky Boschel managed not to hold the line on that left-hand side or with the decision, but as they find themselves again with a promising move broken down rather too easily. On occasion, Nicky Boschel flagged offside just as he had some space on the left flank to work in. And it's nodded away. Picked up now by Norburn. What can Norburn do with this ball? He plays it forward again. It just seems magnetically attracted to an orange shirt. And it's found Kenny Davis, who chips the ball into the box. Rob Atkinson gets it away. Up towards Nicky Boschel, but he can't get that one down. Guiseley again, the ball at the back line. Trailing by a goal to nil here. And being pegged back in their own half, and the home fans getting frustrated now. As Braintree take possession of the ball here with Kenny Davis in field, and finds Brundle into the feet of Isaac, but Guiseley win the ball back here. Good work from Nicky Boschel. Gavin Rothery runs down the left-hand side, but he's held up by Brundle. He's got very little in the way of support near him, and does well, finds Emil Sinclair. Sinclair now back to Rob Atkinson, right in the halfway line, but Guiseley have got some bodies forward now. Rob Atkinson into Oliver Norburn. Patient build-up play from Guiseley, though, to Dudley, to Hurst. Hurst will look for the cross. No, he won't. Gives it back to Rob Atkinson. Guiseley knocking it around, and in the end, all that passing play results in is giving the ball back to Braintree, who come down the left-hand side before a poor touch, actually, from Haberham. Gives it back to Dan Atkinson, but again, lack of conviction from the Lions as they go forward.
Yeah, and just when they sort of start to look like they're getting going and starting to play with some freedom, they lose concentration. That's actually how the goal was conceded in the first half. as soon as they look like they're starting to enjoy moving the ball around, something frustrating happens, and it sort of sets us back to where we started from.
Now a great ball from Jake Lawler. Finds James Hurst, who's in some space on the right-hand side. Gets the cross blocked at the first attempt, of course. And then is in real troubles to try and cross it with Haberham closing him down. But Haberham actually puts an arm out, and it catches him by the arm, and the protest, but it's going to be a free kick for Guiseley, and there's going to be a second change for the Lions. A well-worked pass from Jake Lawler. The cross from Hurst, forcing the free kick. And what for this second substitution, Nick?
Well, this is Adam Boyes coming on for Anthony Dudley. This is a change I agree with. I don't think Anthony has had a good game actually this afternoon. He's not been able to get moving with the ball at his feet and use his pace. He's not been able to get into the box enough to threaten the goal. And in passing and in sort of on the right of midfield where he's been forced back to, has been found wanting. I think what will happen is Adam will go through the middle. Gavin Rothery might go out to the left or play on the right instead of in behind.
Cross comes in from the free kick in towards the near post. Hits Boyes' leg outstretched, but goes behind for a goal kick, difficult one.
So I think it might be something approaching a sort of a 4-4-2 now, with both Sinclair and Boyes through the middle up front. I would imagine Sinclair will probably play in a little bit deeper, with Boyes trying to lead the line, maybe win some more headers. He's a significantly taller striker than Sinclair, and hopefully will provide a good balance between a bit of physical presence up front, but obviously still harrying the defenders and doing some pressing of Guiseley's own.
Now the clearance from the goal kick was headed straight back into the Braintree half, and that lifted the home fans. A couple of goals we're going to tell you about shortly, but we'll just stick with this Guiseley attack at the moment. There's a throw now for James Hurst, who looks for options, gives it to Rothery, gets it back, and Hurst plays it back in field, now finds Danny Hall. Can see a Braintree man on the far side getting kitted up, ready to make a change. And the ball forced all the way back to Dan Atkinson.
It's very good pressing again by Braintree.
Played forward from Atkinson towards Sinclair, but Braintree win it, and they win a free kick at the same time. And then there's a bit of reaction between Norburn and Akinola, but I'm not really sure quite what for. It hardly looked like much of an incident in the first case, the free kick, let alone something to react against by the Braintree man. And Norburn's going to be called over.
Yeah, I'm not sorry, Colin. I'm not quite sure what's brought that about. The obviously some verbals or something that we're not a party to. The referee quite sensibly just telling them both to button it at the moment. No further action required. I think he's handled that well. Has Mr. Neild.
Yeah, I can't fault him for that one. It was a rather strange, innocuous free kick. Not a late challenge or any reason for a reaction. So those goals: Stalybridge 5, Telford 3, 8th in that game. Nantwich 1, Dover 0 in the FA Trophy quarter-final. Free kick for Braintree goes long, and Daniel Lowe should see this one out. Oh, he opts to clear, and he clears the ball only as far as the edge of the 18-yard box, and it's picked up again by Braintree, and it's Way Woodyard to the left-hand flank. Picked up here again by Haberham, who plays it square now to Edgar. Edgar cuts infield, tries to cross with the right foot. It's a good ball in, and helped away by Danny Hall. Unconventional volley across the face of goal and behind for a corner, but it was all brought about by a really incisive cross from Anthony Edgar.
Yeah, good ball, and it had to be unconventional by Danny Hall. If he'd hit it conventionally, make no mistake, that was an own goal.
Defended very well from Danny Hall from a very good ball in. Guiseley, though, again defending the corner. We've got 62 minutes on the clock. The Lions with a lot of work to do to get back into this game. A goal down, but Braintree continually pressing and a threat. And eventually this corner's going to get taken. And it does. In towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed on towards the goal and off the line by Dan Atkinson. It was Kenny Davies who got the header in. He was almost unmarked in that 6-yard box. And Braintree win the second phase again, and Edgar will drill one in with his left foot. Not his strongest suit by all accounts, and that time it's behind for a goal kick.
A good goalkeeping by Dan Atkinson to keep the side in the game there. Had to do well on his line. 2-0 lead, I think, would be too much for the Lions to overcome in this game, looking at how play has gone on this afternoon. But as long as it's 1-0, there's a chance of getting something out of it.
Could do with something, couldn't we, this afternoon? It's been 3 months since we had a Saturday home league game. Oh, home league game on a Saturday. And that was the last time people have probably seen a home league goal was 3 months ago. That Oliver Norburn strike that gave us the 2-0 victory over Bromley. Seems a distant memory, especially for those fans who don't get to come during the week for various reasons. Guiseley, though, can't get out of the line, and Braintree come forward again, and they've managed to work their way down the left-hand side here with Edgar. Anthony Edgar up against Hurst. Edgar's got Haberham on the overlap, crosses into the box himself up towards the back post, and a good leap from Akinola, who heads the ball over, made connection on it as he was coming down, but he feels he should have done better. Grabs the ball, grabs his hands, and his hands in frustration.
He was just having to crane his neck backwards to try and meet that, and it's so easily done in those circumstances. He's just got slightly underneath it and headed it over. Good move again by Braintree.
And again, Braintree just finding so much space on the field, and it's Edgar again who just rolls the ball in towards the edge of the 18-yard box, this time away from the Lions man. And as Edgar goes down, feigning a collision with Norburn, referee waves that away. Guiseley now come forward. Norburn stretching to win the ball, keeps the ball going, wins it with a thundering challenge, gives it to Hurst. Hurst rolls the ball in towards the back post, but it's a poor cross and easy for Tom King to claim. Oliver Norburn in the thick of things again.
That's something I want to see more of from Norburn, actually, is getting into the challenge. Now, there's talk of him with his playing style, with his sort of composed passing style, just break off.
Oh yes, Braintree again find the ball and again work it in towards the Guiseley penalty area. Isaac takes a deflection off Hurst, and it's gone behind for yet another Braintree corner.
What I was going to say is there's talk with the way that Norburn plays as him being a natural heir to Danny Boschel in midfield, but what Danny has always done that I don't see enough of from Norburn yet is he's not the biggest man, he's quite slightly framed, but he throws himself in fearlessly into challenges in midfield, quite often picks up bookings doing so. I want to see a little bit more of that actually from Norburn.
Corner again to Braintree on this near side. Again, they're all clustered in the 6-yard box, and it's going to go into that area, and it's headed away well by Rob Atkinson. Good firm header, but only yet again as far as an orange shirt. Haberham plays it into the feet of Edgar. Good thundering challenge again from Norburn. Deflects off Edgar. He is protesting that it was a Braintree throw, and it's actually a Guiseley throw. And Norburn just beginning to have a little bit of joy in that tussle. Hurst now chips the ball up towards Boys, but over his head and away. Norburn wins the head on the halfway line. Again, Norburn getting much more involved now. In towards Rothery. Rothery helps the ball towards Danny Lowe. It was the right ball, but Akinola was tracking back really well. It goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. Jake Lawler makes the interception from the keeper's clearance, but Guiseley just unable to keep the pressure on. It's back now with Danny Hall, who sends it long up towards Adam Boys. Headed away from him by Phillips. The centre half winning the header on a couple of occasions ahead of Boys in the instances since the Lions substitute has been made. Now Norburn floats this one out towards Hurst. Hurst will get this one after it's been nodded on by Edgar. Hurst has got Danny Boschel to his left and two onto him, so he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to get something out of this. It takes a deflection off Haberham. Edgar goes to ground, makes a dive, doesn't get anything for it. Gavin Rothery picks it up on the edge of the 18-yard box, dribbles the ball through, goes towards Hurst, but instead Edgar goes down. It was the wrong ball there from Gavin Rothery. I think he should have gone for goal, or he should have done something differently than going to the right-hand side, and in the end it results in a free kick to Braintree.
Well, from here, behind the play, looking towards the goal at the Bradford Road end, it looked like Gavin was in a good position to take a shot, and once again, just not taking the opportunities, not having a go at the opportunities that are presented to them, is proving to be a bit frustrating in this game. And that being said, Norburn looks like he's got his dander up. You know, I think that silly bit of verbals or something a few minutes previously seems to have woken him up. He looks angry on his face. He's moving quicker. He's getting into challenges and playing passes with real intent as well.
Now Lawler wins the ball, gives it to Sinclair. His shot is blocked down on the edge of the D. Guys, having a better spell in this game now. Edgar now on the ball in field here. The ball ticks over from Isaac, going in towards the left-hand channel where Cheek is chasing. We're going to have another substitute for Guiseley. We're going to roll all of the dice quite early on in this game for Mark Bauer. He's not one to make changes. And it's going to be Liam Dickinson who's going to enter the fray, replacing Emil Sinclair.
Well, I can't fault this. And Sinclair doesn't look desperately happy to be coming off. He's not had a bad game, Sinclair, but he's been crowded out by some very tall strikers and been feeding off of scraps. And Mark has clearly realised that with the long balls going up there, to have both Dickinson and Boys gives him the best chance of seeing some of those long balls stick upfield for a little bit longer and give the team chance to push out from the back.
So finally, we'll get back underway. Liam Dickinson and Edgar having a bit of a tussle on the halfway line as Dickinson gets his position. Referee right on top of it. Headed away by Haberham and picked up now by Norburn on the halfway line. He gives it to Danny Hall, who runs up to the halfway line on the left-hand side, plays it in towards Gavin Rothery, takes a deflection and out.
Sorry, Colin. Very classic 4-4-2 this now, but with Nicky Boschel, as an out-and-out right winger, and Gavin Rothery, an out-and-out left winger, and the two bigger men, Dickinson and Boys, through the middle.
Now Guiseley win a throw. I heard it went to 4-4-2 on Tuesday night.
Well, it did, because it looked like we were getting so much of the ball that you could sacrifice a midfielder and risk leaving an extra man up top to try and find a goal.
And Nicky Boschel's just lost the ball on the edge of the D, but Guiseley winning the second phase here now for a small spell. Out here towards Rothery. But good interception from Mitch Brundle. Guiseley with Danny Lowe. Danny Lowe now. Downfield here towards Dickinson. Dickinson away up towards Hall. Hall wins it, and then Cheek goes down, and the referee waves play on, and now Edgar's through on clear on goal. Edgar, without anyone ahead of him, takes a shot. Great save from Dan Atkinson. I'm not sure that Cheek actually got much of a knock. The Braintree officials are furious about the decision, but Guiseley still have the ball here with Hurst. Now Nicky Boschel. Nicky Boschel into Hurst. Hurst on this right-hand side. Has Boschel in field, but Boschel gets the ball mixed up under his legs. And it's chance now for Braintree to clear. Cheek still down, so Edgar puts the ball back and slams his forehead with his hands. Frustration that he didn't do better. Through on goal. Norburn tracked back with him ever so well. And Dan Atkinson stood up well to block the one-on-one, and now there's a free kick and a card coming out for someone. And Danny Lowe quite frustrated at Kenny Davis, who went to the referee to have a word with him. And the referee now calling over, I'm not quite sure who. He's calling over who's involved in that incident, Nick.
No, it's not clear. It happened so long back. I mean, I agree with the referee that if there was a foul, then to play advantage was the right thing to do.
I don't like it when there's an opposite player, either ours or theirs, talking to the referee to encourage a booking.
No, and it's still not clear who's actually getting booked here. Danny Lowe now talking to the linesman on that far side.
But Danny Hall looks furious about it, as if he's really protesting about that. He's protesting about the position on the field. I wonder if this could be worse, actually. Danny Hall has been called back. It's a yellow card. For a moment, I thought that was going to be even worse for a second. We've seen that sort of decision being given, but a yellow card for Danny Hall. And I have to say, I have some sympathy with him to say that really is a bit of a harsh booking, but
I thought Cheek went to ground a little bit easily. That being said, the referee, if he thought it was a foul, did the right thing to play on.
Actually, excellent advantage from the referee, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Give him his credit.
Yeah, and it was good. It was good goalkeeping by Dan Atkinson. It was going through his legs actually, and he caught it. He trapped it with his ankles just as it was getting played under his body as he went to ground. It was quite a relief to see him come out with the ball in his hands. We weren't sure if it had gone all the way through.
And Norburn has scored a goal. Now what is he going to do about this?
Oh dear.
Because it was a return ball to the goalkeeper.
Oh dear.
And it was one of those scenarios where it was a return because the ball had been put out of play by a Braintree player. And you can imagine, by the rules of the game, that is a goal. That is one each. But, it's not in the spirit of things, is it? So now the referee has gone across. It's a difficult situation for the referee and the linesman here to decide what to do. He's gone over to speak to the referee. I don't know quite what he's going to come up with here as a possibility.
I don't know on what grounds he could disallow the goal, but
I don't think he can disallow the goal, can he?
But I don't think Norburn's shot either. It was a bit cute. It wasn't. But the ball was thrown to him by the Braintree man. We should describe what happened. The ball was thrown to him by the Braintree man. He side-footed it towards the goal. The keeper was off of his line, stood to one side. I mean, it's all breaking out in the ground here now, Colin.
It is quite a scenario. Referee has got to give the goal. He's now got to try and see.
Braintree manager's calling his players off the pitch over there.
And now
he's telling his players to come off the pitch.
Well, the two officials were having a right old argument. Now, I think, like you say, Norburn just lobs the ball back to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper stands, makes no effort to try and recover it, and it goes into the goal. This is a quite remarkable situation. This is quite unprecedented. The officials are having a real difficult job on to try to negotiate. What you'd normally see in scenarios like this is that the other side would be allowed to score a goal when they felt like that. But I think that Mark Bowers probably had the decision that, you know what, that was a decent ball back to their goalkeeper. If he chooses not to intercept it, it's gone in.
I just need to be clear, Norburn didn't shoot. There was no pace in that ball. He didn't fire it towards the goal. It was a complete swing your leg through it, lazy ball back in the direction of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper stood and just sort of watched it go by him.
Wow, this is quite a scenario, this. So Oliver Norburn has been given the goal. 1-1 it is. 1-1, but in the most controversial circumstances, because Oliver Norburn received the ball from the throw-in to return the ball to the goalkeeper after Guiseley had a throw after Braintree had put it out for an injury to Michael Cheek. Now,
I can see no guarantee at the moment that this game's even going ahead, Colin, because the coaching staff for Braintree over there look like they may, the way they're talking to the referee, the way they're talking to the Guiseley players who are over there. Most of the Guiseley players are away from it, thankfully. There are stewards now crossing the fence to come on inside the perimeter to try and calm down and tie up some of these conversations that are happening. But the body language from the Braintree coaching staff suggests if they don't get a decision they're happy with here, they may call their side off.
Well, that's their decision, isn't it? I suppose, but it's.
I don't know what I think about this.
It's very confusing, isn't it? Because in one hand, you don't want your team to score a goal from that scenario.
Four more stewards now coming onto the pitch, and the guys, the chief executive, the football general manager, AD Towers.
What a difficult scenario.
Officials, coaches, stewards on the pitch, around the dugouts area. Nobody seems to have a clue what's going on here. Mark Bauer and Danny Boschel are back in the dugout telling their players to line up to restart the game.
Captains are being called over. I think there's going to be some arrangement here. The referee has no authority not to indicate anything. It is entirely at the discretion, isn't it, of the teams what they do. That was a goal. It was one of those scenarios where the goalkeeper just simply didn't intercept the ball from the return pass. The referee is very limited in what he can do.
But I know what they're going to be saying. They're going to be saying that ball shouldn't have been played towards the goal. It should have been played sort of wide of the goal so that a situation like that couldn't happen. But equally, if Norburn had put his laces through the ball and shot for goal from 50 yards away there, I would be in absolutely no doubt that goal was wrong and we should be giving them a goal back.
Absolutely.
As it is, it's in a very grey area for me. I don't think he tried to shoot. I think I think possibly that's good luck for Guiseley that they were switched off. Although they will say that the ball shouldn't have been in danger of going towards the goal. It should have been played out wider than that.
And Sorry, Nick. Literally, like you say, there are stewards on the pitch now in between the two managerial teams. That's how frustrated they are down there.
And I still don't know what's going to happen. The fourth official is trying to separate things as kickoff is taken. The game's restarted. It doesn't look as though Braintree are being given a goal here.
And away we go. Well, it's not ideal, is it? And I have to say, I do feel for this referee this afternoon. What an impossible situation he's in, and I have to say, so far I have nothing but respect for the way he's handled it. Because
yes, I don't know whether it's a combination of poor fortune, maybe a little bit of mischievousness by Norburn, maybe a bit of laziness by the goalkeeper as Nicky Boschel goes down bent double. He's just taken an elbow or a fist to the groin area.
That's what it suggests to me, which actually, to be fair, it didn't look like it in the motion from where we were stood. Now Braintree on the ball. We are back underway, and this is going to be a very interesting last, 15 minutes or 10 minutes or so. And there is some very, very angry people around this stadium now because of what's happened.
There's in danger of being a bit of unrest breaking out in the seated stand. I mean, that's not something I've ever seen at Guiseley before. I've never seen. This is an unsegregated game. I've never seen any difficulty, but there's tempers have flared. People's sense of justice is obviously offended. We don't really know what to make of it.
Now the ball here with.
Don't feel great about having accepted that goal at all.
No, me neither. But we are where we are. Guys here, one each here, and there is an important game of football underway here for both these sides. Of course, Braintree pushing for the playoffs. Guiseley looking to avoid the drop. This is a very, very, very difficult game for both teams. Braintree nod the ball out now, and Norburn.
Just to be clear, the stewards are only now climbing over the fence between the dugouts to leave the technical areas and leave the coaching staff, the players and officials as the only ones out on the pitch.
There are definitely two sides to this story, though. Don't be fooled by making this out to be Guiseley have done the unsporting thing, and this is not as clear cut as that. This is a grey area today, and Guiseley have got the goal. Do not be any under illusions that this is a simple instance of unsporting, one team not giving the ball back.
No.
Appropriately. No, this is not a simple situation.
It was, he spooned up a dolly ball into the area for the keeper to pick up and for play to restart. Now, you don't give teams, I think will be Mark's position, you don't give teams a goal for misfortune or bad luck. You might, in the case of bad sportsmanship, overrule your player's decision, but it wasn't as clear cut as that.
Well, there's going to be another change to Braintree. I haven't missed an awful lot of action while we're still pontificating on that, as you'll forgive us for doing so. A couple of important goals to come and give you as well. 23, Michael Cheek, who was the man who was affected by that injury.
How long will we stop
replaced
for?
By Sean Marks. I'd say probably about 5 minutes.
So we've got quite a while still to go.
Aldershot 1-0 up against Welling, and Boreham Wood now 3-0 up against Southport. FC United are 2-1 up against North Ferriby in the Vanarama National North, and Barrow 1, Forest Green 2 now. So go back for the Bluebirds.
The game rather inevitably has lost all shape and rhythm at the moment. Neither team really knows quite what they're trying to accomplish at this point.
Oliver Norburn on the ball then, now gives it to Gavin Rothery on the left-hand side. It's here with Liam Dickinson. Liam Dickinson looks into the box, floats this one in up towards Adam Boyes, headed away. One each now. In the most controversial circumstances, Boyes chasing this one down against Haberham. The ball played back to the goalkeeper, who puts his foot through it, and it's away. Hurst flicks it on. Guiseley inside the Braintree half now. Norburn loses out though now to Davis. Davis picks the ball up for the visitors, tries to play it square, gives it to Woodyard. Free kick given against Woodyard by the referee as he lunged in to try and win the ball, and that seemed a bit soft to say the least. And Guiseley get the free kick.
I can understand Woodyard feeling he hadn't committed a foul there. And Guiseley push up the pitch. Rob Atkinson will take this. Liam Dickinson needs to be careful. He doesn't drift out too wide. Actually, he's on to be in the box as a focal point.
Dickinson battling to try and win the header against Mark Phillips. The ball bounces off Mark Phillips' head and into Guiseley's path and then into the box, but Nicky Boschel can't win that one. He's muscled out of the position on the edge of the area, and Nicky Boschel has some sort of problem with his midriff. He took a knock in an incident just after the equalising goal, and it doesn't look right since, but guys have used all their substitutes. Liam Dickinson now on the ball, plays it forward, looking to feed into Danny Lowe, but it's gone beyond him. And then it goes through, and Rob Atkinson plays it back to Dan Atkinson. Dan Atkinson on the ball, gives it to Hurst. Hurst
I can only think an abdominal injury of some sort for Nicky Boschel, a muscle injury, one of those many small muscles you have in there. That can be very painful.
As it is, he could become a bit of a passenger in this final few moments. As Guiseley 1-1 here against Braintree in, I'm sure, something that will be discussed very long and hard in the next few days. We've got the equaliser from Oliver Norburn, but now Akinola could try and get the Braintree team back in front in this game. He's drilled the ball against Danny Hall and behind for a corner.
Guys, they need to be absolutely wide awake. They're not leaving anybody forward, actually, much as Braintree weren't doing in the first half. Everybody in to defend this corner. Adam Boys goes onto the post.
Gavin Rothery now trundles up just to prove you were wrong.
But Dickinson and Boys are the two men on the posts.
Corner to come in from this right-hand side. Loads of orange shirts in the 6-yard box. Ball into the area. Referee spots a foul. And a free kick is given to Guiseley.
I don't know what to make of this at the moment, Colin. I've got a really uneasy feeling about it.
Well, there's a rather unbelievable scenario here. And, thanks, Alan Long. He says, sounds a bit of a controversy, chaps. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, you could say so. The ball's now on the left-hand side. Gardner for Braintree. The substitute gives it to Davis. Davis tries to spin on the ball and cut infield. Square now. Finds Gardner. Cut out here by Norburn. Norburn back to Dickinson. Up towards Boys. Boys muscled off the ball. And then Payne goes down, alleging that he's been clipped by Boys, but he made a tremendous dive into the air. That doesn't help your cause, does it, when you do that? Such theatrics.
Total dive. Total dive.
It's unnecessary, isn't it?
He wasn't clipped, and if he did have his ankles clipped, it wouldn't shoot you up into the air like you just come off a trampoline.
Nick, your expertise in physics.
Yes.
Proves that point to be so.
I guarantee that.
Braintree with a free kick on the halfway line into the area. It's a physical impossibility. And a long-range shot from Mark Phillips. Drills up high in the sky and away for a Guiseley goal kick. One each here.
As the saying goes, that shot came down with snow on it.
Probably a physical impossibility as well.
Apparently we're okay with those today.
Goal kick for Guiseley. And the Lions get the ball up into the Braintree final third, but it's defended and cleared. And Jake Lawler steps across to win possession back for Guiseley. Played up towards Gavin Rothery from Hall. That's going to be won here by Brundle. So he's still pressed by Gavin Rothery and forced to put the ball out into touch. Apparently it took a touch off Gavin Rothery, and it's a Braintree throw. The referee making sure the visiting fullback doesn't take excessive yardage. Dover, meanwhile, have equalised against Nantwich in the FA Trophy quarter-final. 1-1 there. And that game between Stadebridge and Telford keeps on giving. It's now 5-4. Telford, 5-4.
Go on, the Bucks. 5-all. Why not?
Nicky Boschel clearly struggling. He's just conceded possession again. And now Braintree on the ball down this left-hand side with Davis. Davis up against Rob Atkinson. Kenny Davis in there. Gives the ball to Hurst. Hurst clears up towards Liam Dickinson. Arms all over Liam Dickinson, but he spins. Takes the ball down the right-hand side. Then he's tripped by Payne. And the referee goes and shows Payne a yellow card. Immediately on it, Liam Dickinson with a good touch and skill. Span away from him. And then went to ground, actually, as Bertie Payne was chasing him. And guys, get a free kick out on the right-hand side. Dickinson
fell twice in that move. I mean, he did very well to actually head it on softly enough that he could turn and run onto it himself as he was being held down by the first defender, and then Payne, the second one, clipped his ankles. And that's what happens when you get your ankles clipped, Colin. You go face down into the turf, as Dickinson did there. Physically, scientifically, that's what happens.
Corner on the free kick rather on this right-hand side. A line of Guiseley players and a line of Braintree players right on the edge of the 18-yard box. This one to be taken. Nicky Boschel swings it in. At the back post, Jake Lawler's there, but he's intercepted before he can get to it. And there's a free kick has been given. I've noticed a few times now, the referee, every time there's been a corner,
Every time there's been a free kick, there's a foul that's been observed and slows things up. I think he's going to be a bit nervous of courting more controversy with 2 minutes to go in this game, one each.
Well, the game couldn't be more finely poised. It couldn't be the passions out on the pitch couldn't be any higher than they are amongst the two sides.
We will, of course, be getting all the reaction after the game. Be interesting. Braintree on the ball, but Boyce closes down well. Wins the ball temporarily, but it's won back now by Gardner. Gardner now cuts it infield. And Isaac into the centre circle. And Norburn has a little work at the referee at the same time. Not quite sure what for, but Braintree
felt the referee was in his way, stopped him from turning and tracking the player.
Ball up in the air. And guys, you just have a comical moment in defence and don't clear the lines at all well, but it is eventually hoisted away, but only as far as Isaac. Isaac infield now. Akinola cut out well by Norburn. On the right hand side though, Braintree keep coming. Ball across into the 6 yard box, held by Dan Atkinson. Dangerous move that from Braintree, and a good ball into the area, plucked out of the air by the Guiseley keeper.
I'd forgotten Dan Atkinson was playing. He's not really been very much involved for quite a while. It's all about the two big strikers up front for Guiseley now, harrying the defence, the bad tempers, the injuries being carried. There's so many stories out on the pitch now, as Dickinson is felled again for a free kick to Guiseley.
So Guiseley now with a free kick midway through the Braintree half. Kidderminster 0, Bromley 1. And Barrow 2, Forest Green 2. An equalising goal for Barrow. Forest Green were 2-0 up there. It's now 2-2.
It's a nightmare for Forest Green in the title race.
It's really interesting the way the story of this is building up on Twitter as well, by the way. Everybody saying, oh, Norburn should play the ball back to Braintree.
He did.
He did. It's interesting because that's exactly what he did, and he takes his free kick now. It's cleared and hoisted away. 8 minutes of stoppage time to be added here. And it's all the way back to the goalkeeper, Atkinson, who lofts this one forward. Rob Atkinson still up. Offside flag goes up. And somebody returning from play in an offside position. Quite possibly Nicky Boschel, given the struggles he's feeling.
Yeah, you can see him gritting his teeth.
And the referee asking for the ball to go back as Braintree tried to take a few yards extra. Bizarre second half in this game. And there's another Braintree substitution to be made.
And just as that happens, you know, the place our name appears in national media and in stories is in sort of articles like, you know, this club is even smaller than Guiseley, or, you know, it always references to our size as a club. We're going to see our name out and about a lot in the coming days. I think the BT sport highlights of this will get shared, and people are going to have strong opinions.
Goalkeeper takes the free kick, headed away from Danny Hall. I don't think it'll be as clear cut when people see it. That's my suggestion. Won't be as clear cut. It was a lob back, but
he did just dolly it up to him.
Well, we'll see when we watch it again. It comes back into the penalty area, helped away by Lowe. And like you say, it still doesn't make you feel good either way.
No, but I've seen Ollie Norburn shoot, and that's not what Ollie Norburn shooting looks like.
Well, free kick's just been given to Braintree on the right-hand side.
And, you know, it's almost on the halfway line. It's so far out. He's just swung... I'll keep saying this. He swung a leg through it, up it went, and the keeper just watched it go by and seemed to not really register what was happening.
2 of the added 8 played. Now this one floated in from Braintree and headed away by Liam Dickinson. Oh, Gavin Rothering misses his line. Still with Braintree then on this right-hand side. Then Danny Lowe steps across, but his touch is a little heavy. Taylor Miles, the substitute who's just come on for Shez Isaac, has also fluffed his lines, and it's a Guiseley throw in left-back position. The headlines might be spared for us. Stalybridge 5, Telford 5. 10 goals in that game.
Called it. I called it.
Telford coming back from 5-2 down. They had led as well earlier in that game too.
If you've come from 5-2 down, there's no way you stop at 5-4. if you're doing that well in the game, that's a ridiculous score.
Now Braintree come forward, free kick given. Jake Lawler just clips Taylor Miles, and there's Payne asking for Lawler to get sent off. That's what I don't like as well. That's appalling. And it's a free kick now to Braintree. And Payne's still at it, isn't he?
He's an interesting character. He seems to have been involved in an awful lot of the unsavoury things that have gone on out there today, Payne.
Free kick now to Braintree, midway through the Guiseley half. They'll certainly feel they deserve the goal here. One each. 3.5 minutes of the added 8 gone. And a free kick now for Braintree, flipped into the area, hoofed away by Liam Dickinson. But Nicky Boschel, who seems to have picked up a couple of injuries over the afternoon, is the most advanced player, and he was not going to be able to get that one. And it's back in here as Guiseley have backs against the wall here. Liam Dickinson defending brilliantly, manages just to get a touch on it to take it away from Kenny Davis. Thought he was going to help it out for a goal kick, had to make the touch, and it's a corner to Braintree.
Well, he was in the middle of shepherding it out, Dickinson. He went actually to ground and then hoofed it out from lying down.
Corner comes in, floats in across the face of the 6-yard box. Nobody touches it, and it's still with Braintree on the far side as the visitors continue to press this Guiseley goal in this final moments. Win another corner out there on the far side. Still 1-1 here. And you will hear all about the controversy of this game, I'm sure, far and wide. Guiseley scoring an equalising goal when Oliver Norburn just passed the ball back to the goalkeeper from a throw-in that had been knocked back by after an injury, and it lobbed the goalkeeper and went in. Braintree play the ball back into the penalty area, picked up by Akinola. Akinola on the far side, gets the cross, hits Hurst. Big shout for a penalty, which would have been very soft indeed for hands against Hurst, but Hurst had his arms by his side. Referee clearly waving it away, not wanting to make any controversial decision to even things up, that's for sure. The referee's been even-handed, that's for certain this afternoon. Norburn now gives it to Hall. Hall's ball forward is poor and it hits touch, and now Braintree will win possession back all too easily. Danny Hall now under pressure from Kenny Davis, has to backheel it out of play, Danny Hall, and concede a Braintree throw.
Everything about the way this game is finishing is absolutely bizarre, Colin.
Nantwich 2, Dover 1.
Oh,
a late goal there.
What a shame.
Throw in now for Braintree, midway through the Guiseley half, and it'll go long into the box. Helped away by Danny Hall. Picked up again, though, as they come with a second phase once again and into the area. A lunging save from Dan Atkinson, and then blasted away by Hurst, and it hits the back of Nicky Boschel and behind for a corner. Guys just can't hit their lines. Now Nicky Boschel got yet another injury. It's like watching Rocky and Nicky Boschel out there today.
He's just had the stuffing knocked out of him by that clearance. Good grief.
Corner now on this near side to Braintree once again into the box, headed up in the air by Danny Hall. Nicky Boschel can't get the presence to clear, gets it up here to Gavin Rothery. I do feel for Nicky Boschel out there with an injury in his chest area, painful in all parts of the pitch, and there's another player down now here. This means that Guiseley will probably use up a couple of seconds, but is that Liam Dickinson who's got a knock on the head?
Yeah, an injury just above his left eye. I didn't see what happened. I was too busy watching the action over there with Rothery, who had to concede a throw-in. Braintree have the restart from throw in a really dangerous position, actually, well into the Guiseley half. Dickinson pulled to his feet by Martin Stringfellow. He'll now have to leave the pitch, leaving Guiseley with, I would estimate, about 9.5 men temporarily. Absolute chaos.
Well, that's
not much else could happen that hasn't yet happened in this game.
Final scores are coming in thick and fast. Macclesfield 0, Wrexham 0. Grimsby have beaten Woking in the FA Trophy 2-0. Curzon have beaten Bradford Park Avenue in the National North.
I confess,
still going here.
Colin, I haven't seen the board go up.
8 we had. 8.
Sorry, thank you.
The ball's into the box from the throw. It's found some space now. Chance for Braintree. Shot over by Akinola, though. He was backed to goal when the ball was received. He span on it, and his left-footed shot flew far and wide. And it also knocked Nick Keefe's headphones off. He was so surprised by it here. Guiseley are...
I thought that must have been turned away by Hurst. I thought that must be another corner. I couldn't believe he'd spooned that.
This is quite an afternoon of football here, for interesting reasons, and the referee blows the whistle. 8 minutes of stoppage has been concluded, and we'll just keep an eye on this. And the Braintree management team are on, telling them not to shake hands with the Guiseley players. Very poor, and there's a few that are, but I have to say, I don't think it's as clear cut as they will make out. I don't think it's anything like as clear cut as they'll make out, but it certainly doesn't make you feel very comfortable, the scenes that have happened here today. It's finished anyway, after Michael Cheek put Braintree ahead in the first half, 1-1. Oliver Norburn's goal, you'll be hearing a bit about that, I'm sure, on after 72 minutes. It's finished here, Guiseley 1, Braintree 1.
And it does have to be said, Colin, as we watch people start to leave the pitch, the vast majority of the players are shaking hands. Quite a few are laughing and slapping each other on the back. I think they know that this has been quite a strange afternoon's football, quite a strange result. It's hard to say who deserved what on the balance of play, because from that incident onwards, the game had no real shape. Teams running at each other, very, very, very awkward.
Well, it's go on, sorry, go on, Nick.
It's happening in the ground around us. There are conversations happening in reach of us. Some people clearly think this is a very black and white issue. I don't think it's a black and white issue. I don't think it constitutes being unsportsmanlike. It's hard to say, though, what... just mindful that there are officials from both sides and staff from both sides around us, and
there are smiles, though, aren't there? I mean,
I think so.
It's taken in the... It's a game of football, isn't it? And yeah, it's controversial, no question about it. But thankfully, there was some frustration. But generally, the reaction has been reasonable, hasn't it?
Well, it turned into a fun afternoon. A lot of things going on here this afternoon. From our power cuts, difficulties getting the floodlights on at half time that involved all of those power cuts where people lost us during the half time break. That was a big distraction. Just further evidence of all the kind of DIY SOS stuff that's going on down at Nethermoor. The ground is a building site. The team played like they were hungover from their efforts on Wednesday. Braintree played a very good, energetic, closing down, high tempo game that Guiseley found very difficult to manage. They were deservedly ahead. Guiseley had chances. They had moments in the game. I think the substitutions Mark made to bring the height on up front, Dickinson and Boys, made it a much more difficult game for Braintree's defenders. You could argue that Guiseley did enough to maybe have earned themselves the right to claim a point from the game. But the way that point came about and the way that equalising goal came about will be talked about in the days ahead. And as you say, Colin, we don't want to hear this written up as a black and white issue. Oliver Norburn did not shoot at the goal. He did not put his laces through. But the Braintree argument will be that ball should have been played to the side of the goal, not towards it, so that an unfortunate event like that couldn't have happened. We don't know. We don't know what was said on the sidelines. We'll probably hear from Mark and one or two of the players after the game, their point of view on what happened. But it ends Guiseley 1, Braintree 1.
Well, what a great afternoon. We'll see you again. We've got a couple of smallish games coming up. Wrexham and Tranmere at home. We'll be back for them. Hope you enjoyed it this afternoon. We'll see you next time.